Did someone say magic mushroom trip in the Garden of Eden? Yeah, you heard right. That's exactly what I experienced when I went to an in-person concert of Jacob Collier this past Monday. So tune in. Welcome back to another episode of Through the Lens. Today we are doing our trip to Jacob Collier's concert. Yes, for Jesse Volume 4 here in St. Petersburg, Florida. OMG, you guys. We have to rewind the tape, and I've got to share a little backstory that led here, because it is literally spirit leading spirit back to spirit is how I ended up at this concert on Monday, May 6th of 2024. So rewind the tape and let's go back to about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm a part of Mystical Christ Academy with David Hoffmeister and his monastery and his team. And it's just been a beautiful space of a lot of prickles, a lot of deep understanding and deeper connection for me in spirit. And I've really been leaning into just trusting spirit and allowing the mighty companions that are within Mystical Christ Academy, meaning the mirrors, the people that are there to really be that reflection on your journey, to guide me. And one of them happened to bring up Jacob Collier. I have never heard of him. And if I have heard of him, I don't recall. And she showed us a 3 or 4 minute clip of him in his documentary with the BBC. And I was like, OMG. This is a friend. This is a friend that I have spent lifetimes with, or some sort of deeper connection has been sparked. It may seem that, I don't know, maybe he was a friend from past lifetimes, or maybe his reflection is so strong that I can see myself so clearly in him that it was just this deep resonating with the grander spirit. Okay. Great. So of course, what does Ashley do when she feels what I used to call a soul dance party, which is now spirit really being like, hey, this is a part of your journey. And that's what Jacob was in that moment. So I do what I always do. I go devour. I go and I seek out more. I lean into that spark. David Hoffmeister always talks about that. He says, lean into the spark, wherever that is, no matter what it is, when you feel it, lean in, because that is spirit. So I leaned in and I started Googling him, started understanding more about him, and I saw that he happened to be coming to St. Petersburg 2 weeks from the day I Googled him. And I'm like, wow. And I tell my partner Patrick about him, and Patrick is usually not in the same alignment with me of all the music I like to attend. So like Lake Street Dive, love them greatly. I do. Him not so much. So I scored a front row ticket to them because I only needed 1 ticket. But needless to say, when I presented this Jacob to Patrick, I was surprised. He was like, yeah, let's watch this documentary on him. Let's look further. And so we watched the documentary, and it was kind of my way into us being able to go to the concert, to be honest with you, or for me to understand if I needed to make a decision to go to this concert on my own. So we watched the documentary, both, I think, grandly fall in love. I can't speak for Patrick, but I will speak and say that he immediately gave approval to the purchase of tickets. So I go online to buy tickets, and I find this group of 3 in row 1 of orchestra, so it ends up being like 5th row from the stage. And it looks like a score in comparison to all the other price tickets. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is a huge savings, but I have to buy 3. And I looked at some other tickets. I kind of hemmed and hawed for a couple minutes. And I was like, no, this is spirit. Like 100% I'm being, provided with this opportunity to see Jacob right up front and close in person. And I am also getting a heck of a deal on these tickets. So even if we can't gift away the 3rd ticket or sell it, we can gift it, right? Not a big deal, because what I was paying for those 3 tickets was like the same price as what the other tickets look like for 2. Well, in that moment, I thought of 2 people that I know would appreciate a concert like Jacob's just as much. And this is interesting because Jacob's opener, who is Kimbra, she's a New Zealand singer and songwriter. And I will say, like, she really set the tone for this complete mushroom trip in the Garden of Eden. But one thing she said was, when Jacob asked me to come with him on this, because she sang with him, I think on Jesse Volume 3 is what she said. And when he asked her to come with him on this tour, she was like, yeah, because I know the people that gravitate towards Jacob are either one, musicians, so they're there because they really understand the technical abilities and the crazy things and beautiful things he is doing with music that is completely out of the box. And she said, or it's the really, really deep thinkers. And I was like, oh, wow. Those two people I thought of in the moment, not that either it doesn't contain the other, right? Like my one friend, he is massive into music, and music feeds his spirit and the creation himself and honoring other creators. We took him Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and he just loved it like we did. So I immediately thought of him because he fits the mold of the appreciation of the music. And then the other person I thought of was a friend of ours who she has really been going on this journey of unwinding her mind and, digging deeper into the course. And she reads a lot of Ken Wapnick's stuff. And she really is just on this journey of awakening. And I believed that she could connect with what I was connecting with Jacob, which is like this spirit level connection, this mirror, this something so deep within. So I reached out to the first friend, the musician friend, and it just so happens that he was actually going to another concert on the same exact night in the town in which I live in. And this concert was going to be in the town in which he lived in. So obviously that wasn't the person. And so we kind of sat on it longer and longer. And then I went and I was having coffee with the other woman I speak of. And I hadn't fully decided. I had really decided to just lean into allowing spirit to just guide me. And we're having this deep conversation with another woman who's in town visiting. And it's so beautiful. And all of a sudden spirit says, invite her to Jacob. And I'm like, what? At first I kind of bucked it. I kind of bucked the system. Looking back, I'm not quite sure why, other than it was like just this moment of contraction in a moment of beautiful expansion of conversation where we were at. So I asked her what she was doing that day and if she'd ever heard of Jacob Collier. She had briefly heard me talk about him on a Patreon call, but couldn't remember his name. So when she went to go look him up, she wasn't able to. And so I shared, and I asked her what she was doing that Monday, which was literally like a week away, a week and a half, and asked her if she would join us, that I would love for her to join us. And needless to say, she then watched part of the BBC documentary and his interview with Colin and Samir, and also just felt like, wow, I'm supposed to be here. So it just felt like this super aligned a place. And if I wouldn't have leaned into spirit in all of these moments, I don't think we would have actually been at the concert, because I didn't say joining Mystical Christ Academy, where Jacob was brought into my awareness, was also a massive story we could do later of leaning into spirit and doing things I wouldn't normally do and allowing the openness for the miracles. Okay, so we're going, right? We are going to the concert. We have the tickets. I feel like I've scored this amazing deal on tickets, and later I find out that I may have even paid overpriced, which is completely fine with me for what I got, because no amount of money could ever equate what I experienced there. It's one of those moments of like, money can't buy this. This is something that is like just experience. So when I realized that, when I saw that actually tickets cost, a different price than what I paid, I had this moment, this reflection of like, wow, how spirit aligned all of that. And even at the level of forum, people must have been trying to like oversell their tickets on SeatGeek, because that's where I was. And really the price was so much less. But if I wouldn't have seen the price like that, I would have bought these other tickets I saw later, multiples of them, right? So it wasn't like they just popped up. where I could have bought 2 tickets for Patrick and I, so much cheaper. But I believe the third person that came with us was meant to be there just as much as we were. And I think we were meant to be there together as well, as a real opportunity for us to connect and collaborate and continue to collaborate from what we have uncovered in that moment of being at that concert, that moment of oneness together. It was just so very powerful. We've spent much time together, but that was the first time Patrick had met in person, and just so many different things. Okay, so you're probably like, oh my gosh, are we going to the concert yet, Ashley? Of course we're going to the concert. Okay, so we get to the concert. Amazing seats, and Kimbra opens it up, and in this moment I'm looking up at the stage, and the way Jacob has just everything set up is like, wow, this is like the Garden of Eden. I know, crazy thought, but it came to me for a moment, and then I kind of drifted away. Kimbra opens, she does some amazing things with her vocals and just instruments, and she just beautiful, bright spirit herself. It just really felt like we were friends with her, right? She had some issues with her guitar. She said she had hair gel all over her fingers, so she didn't know how it actually was going to come out, but it was so perfect. It really just set this stage for, you are not at a concert of hierarchy. You are not at a concert where it's us and them. You are truly in a space where it is we, it is us, it is one. We are here together to experience this together, and no one is higher or lower or left or right or wrong or good or bad, but we're just one. And so you just really felt comfortable really quick. I mean, Jacob's not even on the stage yet, you guys. And so Kimbra, leaves, and she does an absolutely beautiful job. And then Jacob comes on the stage. And it is just, I can't even explain to you being in his presence. Patrick and I were driving home, and it was like, Patrick said, I don't think I've ever experienced someone so naturally present before. And we've been around people that, who've been on this journey of unwinding and would be very close to enlightenment. But a thing that we were talking about is like, it's the natural piece. It's not like he spent all of these years unwinding the mind. It just feels so natural for him to just be so, like, just present, right? Actually, I don't even need to rank it as so. He's just like present. And you can tell in every single moment, he is present with you. He is there to be with you. And when I say you, it's like the one. And so what happened to this concert was just like the most epic trip I have ever had. So he's singing and he's collaborating constantly with other singers that are also on the stage. I don't have their names, but there's 3 beautiful women that are there singing with him, and they have some solos as well. And then he's got, a bass player. I am not a musician, friends. Please give me grace here. But he's got 5 other people on stage other than himself. And so it's this constant beauty and like dance. And you can tell they're all so present with one another and so paying attention to what the other is doing. And they're just like, it reminds me of when I read a book about flow state and, being supernatural, I think. They talk about SEAL Team 6. And they talk about all this major training they do for flow state to get SEAL Team 6 to connect at the level of the mind so they know where each other is in any given moment in the complete darkness, yada, yada, yada. I have done a video before about how to maintain constant flow state, and that's living in spirit. I feel like that's what we were witnessing on stage. We were witnessing a group of projected individuals fully extending love, extending spirit to all that came into the awareness there. And so it turned into a massive sing-along, which my voice, we talked in the last Jacob, is not, I don't even know if it ranks on okay if we have a meter, but to me, singing is just so healing and it just feels so freeing for me. And so we just got to sing along and really be a part of the songs that everybody else was singing. And then was this moment of complete oneness for me. Like I felt like it was there was mystical experiences for me throughout this entire, maybe the whole concert we could call a mystical experience. But this one moment, he was singing Bridges Over Troubled Water, and he sang it alone on his weird machine that I think the MIT guy built him in, like, so he messes with his vocals and it's like multiples of him, and it was like it was like the world disappeared. And I have never, ever been moved to tears for a song just because in this manner. I don't even know if I can explain it, but it was this full embodiment an experience of the oneness. And I just, like, after he even finished that song, he started to sing another song. I have no clue what it was. And I just felt like this well of emotion he had, like, pushed out of me, because he, like, filled me so with the remembrance of spirit that, like, this ego, fear and stuff was coming to the surface and just wanted to be released. And I just felt it was absolutely out of this world. It was all, afterwards I was thinking about it and I was like, why was I so moved? And I don't know, other than what came to mind was, it was like hearing angels sing and truly experiencing the song of God, the song that we are being sung by spirit to remember, to return, to find, or to remember our way back. Now find, and here in projected form was someone using something at the level of form to spark that remembrance within. And holy crap, did it work. I was like an observer the entire concert. Even before that, I really was in this place of the observer, which is when I take mushrooms in the past, which I haven't in quite some time. That's where it places me, in the observer's role. And I've noticed as I've unwinded the mind, I spend more and more time in the observer. And I will say, today's Wednesday, and I went to the concert on Monday, and my mind has shifted. And it hasn't gone back. And I'll be honest, of course, at first I had fear that it would shift back, like this was a short-term fix, because I'm used to, like, flow state. I'm used to activating through mushrooms. And usually you have, like, an afterglow the next day where you're still kind of experiencing that oneness, the observer, but just, like, not as intense. And so I predicted what my present moment based on past, and thought for sure it would go away, but it still hasn't. I'm still really in this, like, observer state, this state of, like, a deeper knowingness, a deeper connectedness. So that goes into the next part, is like Jacob's, the whole concert is a sing-along, but the moments that he made the audience an instrument, a choir itself, I don't even know what, like an orchestra, like all these different things are the moments of true oneness. He was able to create this experience of oneness in all of us. At the end, he had, like, I will say, if you're going to go to his concert, I have never been to so many extra encores. I've never in my head thought, like, is this going to go on forever? Like, have we literally entered where we are entering forever? Like, was this the exit that I found back at the entrance? Like, is this the place we will spend eternity? Which I would have been completely cool with it. The seats were comfy. It was a beautiful people sitting next to me and all around me. And we were experiencing something so deep and wonderful. But when he did that, especially at the end, he started having us make these really interesting noises. And I think throughout the concert, we had done it so much so many moments where you would all of a sudden step up and you would have like us go, ooh, and then ah, and I'm going to save your ears right now and not do any more. But he would like really direct us, and it would be short, brief moments, maybe a little longer, a little here or there. But this moment, it was like he used some of the most random noises, and he had us make them, and it sounded so freaking beautiful together. Oh, here it comes. It sounded so beautiful together. And in that moment, I had a realization of like, these meat suits are a bunch of monkeys, right? Like we really just do based on who, like what we're viewing through, right? The ego or the spirit. And in that moment, he was connecting with us all on this level of spirit. And so we all felt safe to do these very silly things and to really feel love and connection from it. And you can see it in his face in the video I share with you of him. He just lights up. And we're all laughing. And that was the moment of like full oneness. I remember looking around, and at one point he had the people in the upper balcony doing this like purring noise that was just amazing. Like everybody's like, whoa, where did that come from? And I remember he was having them go for a long time, and all of us in the front, mind you, we're right up front. We all like turn around and just like love them. I mean, I may have been one of the only people consciously doing that, but subconsciously you could just feel the love being sent, the like pride, the honor, the amazement of watching them hold this tune for so long, and just how beautiful it sounded and how funny it was and how just like amazing it all was. That was just absolutely beautiful. And we sang so many songs together in the encore. The encore, like you felt like everybody there was truly your brother, which we all are, right? Everyone is truly your brother, but Jacob, without being like me, creating a video being like, everyone's your brother, right? We're all one. Blah, you know, all of my videos. Jacob is able to use music and remind you, spark your remembrance, and it's this fun way, and you trust him at such a deep level. The trust I felt for him, the trust I felt in the room. I mean, I've been to other concerts where they try to get the audience to sing along or do something funny, and there's still a lot of skeptics, a lot of people in the audience that aren't doing it, they aren't joining in. I don't know if anyone there wasn't joining in. It was like you couldn't not. It was truly an extension of love, a true mirror of truth. And then, of course, when someone pulls out the freaking wiggly guy from the car wash in their concert, you know it is the best concert you've ever been to. That was that right there. Like, that was one of my favorite parts as well, because it just really represented the childlike beauty that Jacob brought to us for that entire evening. And when we left that concert, it was just, let me rewind a second. So some people left before the second encore when it was just Jacob, and it breaks my heart. I mean, that they missed such a beautiful part, but obviously they weren't meant to be a part of that. But this dad came forward in front of us because there was people that were in these seats and they left and never came back, and he had his daughter on his shoulders. I don't know how old she was, maybe 8, 9, and the joy in her face and the knowingness and her just seeing all these adults just lean into this love that she knows probably a lot closer than we do. And she just lit up, and Jacob, one of the women singers, waved at her and she's like, "Dad, did you see that?" Like, she just was so filled with joy. And it was really beautiful to like witness her as well, but it also was a reminder of like, I was witnessing so many people in this just beautiful, miraculous state of love and oneness and childlike acceptance and and just freedom. I mean, unless everybody in the audience was a singer, there was people there that probably won't even sing around their spouse, around their kids. But in that moment, Jacob just allowed it. Jacob encouraged it. Jacob created the safest container there was. I mean, I have a video about holding space and how important that is, like being a coach or a mentor or a friend or anyone. And Jacob had the ability to hold space for over 2,000 people in one moment. I mean, there was movement there. There definitely was movement in people and change and openness and freedom of some weights they've been carrying. And it was just absolutely amazing. So then we leave and we're walking out, and you can just feel it. You can feel the love radiating off everyone, and everyone is just giddy and joyous, and feel the energy feels so light and free and just alive, like truly alive, not a dream of death, but truly alive in spirit. And yeah, I was on cloud 9, and the next day I kind of felt a little like exhausted. We were up pretty late, but I will say it's an experience that is like no other experience I've had before. And so, you know, here at Big Miracle Energy and through the lens specifically in one's journey, it's all about daily microdoses and taking a weekly trip. So essentially what that means is that we're finding opportunities where we can really expand and experience the extension of love without any external influence. And I would say to you, if you're on the fence or have the opportunity, go to a Jacob Collier concert. That is another opportunity for you to really experience expansion at a whole new level. And it's just absolutely amazing. And remember, he represents so many different things for so many different people. There was musicians there that were there to appreciate the music. There was, deep thinkers there like you and I, I'm guessing, if you're watching this. So remember, not everyone's going to have the same experience, but I will say everyone will have an experience, because that is the light that Jacob carries is so bright. You can't not have an experience. It might be a not so great experience, just like when people actually take mushrooms. You will get the exact experience you need in the moment for your next level on this journey. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so beautiful. A little side note that no one knows is I actually sent Jacob an email like a week prior and just said, hey, one mind or long lost friends, I'm not quite sure, but I'm reaching out to you and feel this call to, whether you're just a mirror that's only for me or for the both of us. And I invited him to come to the beach on Sunday, and he did not respond. He may never respond. But I do see on his Instagram that he was literally on the beach that we used to go to every weekend. We were just down the way. So it's just one of those moments of remembrance that I'm not in charge. I'm not the one controlling. But that was our Through the Lens for today, friends. All things Jacob Collier's concert. This is episode 2 in the Jacob Collier series. It is an open-ended series, friend, because he sparks much remembrance in me, and he is an amazing mirror for me and mighty companion. So I want to leave it open, because at any moment, Spirit may inspire me to do another Jacob Collier video of some extent. So know that. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you went to a Jacob Collier concert, please, I would love to hear how your experience was. How are you different after your Jacob Collier concert? And as always, my friend, remember you are worth it, and so much love. Bye-bye.